Hello everyone, my name is Jeff Olson. I'm the Art Education Director for Royal Talents North America. In this video demonstration, we're going to explore some of the features and working properties of the Amsterdam All-Acrylic Standard Series specialties, specifically the pearl colors. There are 6 pearl colors in the Amsterdam Standard Series line. They begin with color number 817, which is pearl white. Next is 818, which is pearl yellow. Then we have 819, which is pearl red, 820, which is pearl blue, 821, pearl violet, and finally 822, pearl green. Now there's some other information on the tube that I'd like to share with you. Of course, we have our proprietary color number that designates this specific pigment regardless of whether it's found in acrylics, oils, or watercolors. This little white box here indicates the opacity. Being completely empty, this refers to this color as being a transparent pigment. And then we have these plus signs. 3 plus signs means excellent light fast rating. Excellent light fastness is 100 plus years under museum-like conditions. Because the pearl colors look like a tube of white paint, we've added this little sticker here that indicates that this is indeed a pearl color, and you can see the green reflection there indicating it as pearl green. There's some other information on the tube. The pigments, you see this MIC, this indicates that this is a mica-based pigment. All of our mica is ethically and sustainably sourced. This is an EU symbol indicating that we use sustainable recycling practice in our manufacturing. The AP rating is approved product by the ACMI, meaning this product is safe to use and not harmful to the environment. This final symbol tells recyclers the exact composition of the packaging for this tube. The surface I'm going to be working on today is the Van Gogh black watercolor paper. It's a 140-pound, fine-grained sheet, excellent for mixed media. So what is it about these pearl colors that are so special? What it comes down to is the pigment, specifically the mica pigment. Traditional pigments are what we refer to as being one-dimensional. The light waves hit the pigment itself, and the dominant light wave that's reflected back is what we perceive as the color, in this case blue. Two-dimensional colors, like metallic colors, the light waves come down, hit the surface, and they are all reflected back, just like what happens when light hits a mirror. The color we perceive, being gold or silver, often comes down to the mineral content of the pigment mica itself. Finally, we have three-dimensional pigments. Here, the base mica pigment is oxidized with multiple layers. The light waves hit it, and depending on the strength of the light wave, it penetrates the different levels of oxidation at different layers, coming back and interfering with each other, which is why these pigments are often referred to as interference pigments. Depending on the direction of the light source or our position to the surface, the colors can transform from the dominant to the subordinate light wave, giving us an appearance very similar to a pearl, which is where it gets its name. Because the pearl colors are completely transparent, the color of the surface or ground plays an important role in how we perceive it. On a white surface, we get a lot of reflected light. And that reflected light, because of the transparency of the pearl colors, make it virtually invisible. The only time you see the actual yellow is when I tilt it to the light. Face on, it seems completely transparent. For the demo today, I'm going to be using just 4 of the pearl colors: the pearl white, the pearl yellow, the pearl violet, and the pearl green. For step 1, we're going to put a small amount of each pearl color down onto our black Van Gogh watercolor paper. The next step is to put a small amount of our primary colors, our control, if you will, over here on the left side of our paper. Using our palette knife, just spread our paint out, making a nice even swatch, and then pull an undertone. Do it again with the blue. Get a nice swatch, and then by gently pulling the palette knife down against the paper, we get a nice undertone. Now we're going to do the same with each of the pearl colors. Now let's take a look at the results. First, our two primaries. We have nice mass tone, but we lose a lot in the undertone. The more it dries, even more is lost. And that's because of the black surface absorbing so much light, not a lot to reflect back off of. But boy, what a big difference with the pearls, right? The mass tones are really strong, that wonderful pearlescent look, but boy, the undertones really show off the power of these interference pigments, especially on this black surface, reflecting so much more light than the traditional one-dimensional colors. In this next step, we're going to put two samples of each of our pearl colors in line with our primaries. So here is the pearl white. I'm going to put a little bead down for each. Next, we're going to add the primaries so we can create our mixtures. Now let's look at the results of our mixtures. Aren't these colors great? Look at these wonderful variations on the primaries we had. So let's look at each one. Here we have both the blue and red mixed with the pearl white. You can see how well it tints the color. And then those undertones, you really see still the reflective quality being exposed for those interference pigments. What a nice tint. Here we have the pearl yellow. What a nice warm red, almost orange we get there, and then almost like a golden effect in the undertone is revealed. Over here starts to shift towards the green, right? Makes sense, yellow and blue making green, and then again that kind of golden undertone. What a beautiful color. Boy, these violet ones really turned out well. So there's the red with the violet. You can see those undertones of the violet. Nice nuance to that color. Here with the blue, the same thing. It really made the blue really deep and rich compared to the others, almost an ultramarine, right? And then that wonderful violet undertone. And then finally the green. Here it's a complementary. It tints the red out a little bit and then leaves that green undertone. Isn't that great? What a magical effect. And then of course here, the green, we have a similar result, right? In the mass tones of these two, the yellow and the green, but a distinctive variation with the undertone. What a fun color range. So that is just mixing our primaries with each of these four examples of the pearls. Now let's take this step further and mix some secondary colors. To mix our secondary color, we're going to pull some of this red down, mixed with the pearl white. Now we're going to try to pull close to the same amount of the blue there and see what we can get for a violet. Look at that wonderful color. What a beautiful pearlescent purple we've ended up with. It just shows the strength of these pigments and the amount of pigment in the Amsterdam standard paints that you're able to mix that secondary color after having mixed the primaries with the pearls and still have a really strong, pure hue. Let's go ahead and do it with the rest. So let's look at the results. Look at these wonderful violet variations we have. First with the pearl white, which we looked at already. But boy, look at how that pearl yellow gives you such a dynamic, it's almost like we're seeing the complements, right? There's the violet, and as we turn the light or change our direction, the yellow comes through. It's almost a metallic color. Wow, what a rich violet. You would expect that, right? We've got the pearl violet being added into this combination of red and blue together. And indeed, we get this really wonderful, deep, pearlescent violet. And then finally, the green. Very similar to what happened with the yellow. Strong purple, and then the green undertone. A little more earthy feel, right? What a wonderful landscape color that would be. And there are the results, folks. We've got our primary colors mixed with one each of the pearls, and then we mixed our secondary color, in this case a violet, to create these wonderful, wonderful secondaries with the pearls. Aren't those fun? Just think of the possibilities in your own paintings. I hope you enjoyed exploring with me today the wonderful results you can get mixing the Amsterdam specialty pearl colors with traditional pigments. The complexity, the luminosity, the literal three-dimensional light effects that result. I would challenge you in using these wonderful pearl colors on how many variations you can get from your traditional palette. Add a little, add a lot, you can control the effect. The results can be truly spectacular. I want to thank you for watching, and I hope this has inspired you to empower your creativity.